Stage 4, The Honeymoon. Prince Callum and Princess Ginger spent the upcoming week planning their elopement. They were both consumed in each other, fucking like rabbits in the Scottish countryside. The steamy sessions were at his bread shop where she now worked, on the outskirts of the mountain trail, or even under the willow tree. They devoured each other in a way that horny animals would, but it was not just about the mere act of sex that had them in a chokehold. It was the unison of their bodies, of their souls. They flowed in and out of each other, exchanging energy that the other half needed for fuel. They were always together, never apart. The couple got married on a Sunday under the willow tree with a pastor and two of Callum's customers who have evolved into his very good friends. After which, they closed the bread shop and Callum prepared a romantic 3-course dinner for his blushing bride. She did not make it easy for him though. With his manhood ejected from his trousers, and her mischievous ways, she orally massaged him at every fleeting chance. While the pastor was boiling for his special bolognese, he used the opportunity to return the favor to his wife. Wife. I have a wife. He smiled at the woman in front of him. The woman who was vulnerable enough to tell him the truth about herself, who she once was and who she is now. The woman who was brave to try again, the woman who was willing to let go and live. I promise to make you happy, with every fiber of my being, love. He held and kissed Ginger on the forehead. He then went to the kitchen corner and pulled her in his direction. He sat on the floor and carried her closer in front of him. His face was at the level he wanted, at her crotch. Callum lifted her champagne boho wedding dress, shifted her white mesh thong to the side and pulled her in more until she was on his breath. Callum passionately French kissed her space. His tongue and lips passionately caressed every inch of her femininity. Her clit became engorged with pleasure. Ginger never knew so many parts of her muffin could have been eaten. Callum went under her more and started to gently suck on her inner labia, sticking his tongue in between on occasions far enough for it to reach inside her, then back to the labia, just quick enough to taunt her. Callum, you don't want to do this, she begged softly. Your pussy is like honey, how could I not? Callum continued his sensual plot against her, using his tongue to taste every essence of her. He got up from the floor and leaned her over on the kitchen counter. He went on his knees and proceeded to spread her ass cheeks and made eye contact with her tiny anus. Kissing and licking her there, with his thumb massaging the entrance of her vagina, she was no match for that. She climaxed. The pastor Callum, she bemoaned in exhaustion. The following days of their lives were spent together basking in the beauty of Scotland as newlyweds. Their first stop was the Isle of Skye, a mystical land of rugged beauty. Here, Callum was in his element. He led Ginger through the fairy pools, their waters as clear as the sky, and to the towering Quilin Mountains, where the wind whispered ancient tales. As they hiked, hand in hand, Callum would point out the mythical creatures that, according to local law, still roamed these highlands. Next, they ventured to the highlands, to the ancient Caledonian pine forests. In the hushed stillness of these woods, Callum shared stories of Highland heroes and whispered ancient Gaelic poetry. They visited Loch Ness, where Ginger, with a thrill of excitement, hoped to catch a glimpse of the elusive monster. Their journey continued to the Orkney Islands, a place of standing stones and Viking heritage. Callum, a repository of Scottish history, brought the islands to life with his knowledge. As they explored the Ring of Brodger, a prehistoric stone circle, Ginger felt a profound connection to the past of no lineage to her. But she understood the interbeing of our existence in the universe and easily connected to her Scottish prince. Their honeymoon culminated in Edinburgh, a city where the old and new coexisted harmoniously. A city that held her heart. They strolled along the Royal Mile, visited Edinburgh Castle, and indulged in the city's vibrant culture. Yet, it was the quiet moments, shared in the city's gardens or in cozy pubs over coffee and a blunt that truly deepened their bond. As their honeymoon drew to a close in Edinburgh, Callum and Ginger realized that their journey was just beginning. Scotland, with its diverse landscapes and rich history, had become a part of their love story, but she knew a trip to Jamaica with Callum was in the foreseeable future. Before turning in the nightcap, as their physical, emotional, and spiritual bond got stronger, they came to the realization that this was their first Sunday together, not spent under the willow tree.